run among people, or some people can pass you and you can see in their eyes without expressing whether they're smiling or not, whether that person is negative.
Yeah, no, but
that's the intuitive mind. It's not this brain. It is the gut mind and the heart mind that sends a message to the brain mind that puts you on guard, and then you become alert, and then you start what you would call opening your eye. And it's not just this eye, it is the pineal eye for defense. That is nature in action. Now, when people start respecting the supraliminal mind, when they start going into any institution or getting involved with any great body of people, etc., the priesthood, and particularly negative opportunists, con artists, fakers, all these people with all these different titles that claim to be helping people, they can't hide. This is another reason why you have some. So what appears to be division is not always division in the aspect that you appear on the surface based on what you would think would be unreasoning misunderstanding. No, it is deliberate hostility because they have been exposed. Because the knowledge exposes. See, this is like this. You know how, like, when you teach people the art of the con game, and then the guy down the corner who got the 3-card molly can't play the game on the little children, and the widows and the women trying to raise their children by themselves because their men have been taken away by these same priests in their private prisons, POW camps, who seem like they have nothing to do with it. And they become aware, and they can read them upon sight because they've started respecting their divine relationship of the subconscious mind, the superconscious mind, and the conscious mind, coming to supraliminal consciousness, dealing with the 7 senses in the circle of the head, etc., which is a defense mechanism given to them by nature. So the liberation of humanity is starting to take place regardless of the constructs, artificial, the straws, artificial, the misrepresented dogmas, artificial, the color of office, artificial, the color of law, artificial, the color of authority, artificial, which have been in operation, and the colored philosophies that have been promoted for the benefit of the dark priesthood and people in government and in pseudo-religion altogether who have been partnering to enslave humanity. That's why they troll. That's why they are disagreeable. Not because they don't comprehend, understand, overstand. It's because truth is a threat to the corruption that has been operative at Midgard for centuries. So I don't apologize for the truth, and I don't sit around trying to play with you.
Just let me clarify. I really wasn't speaking.
No, I'm implying in general.
Right. So I wasn't.
I know that you're implying in general with some of the comments.
I'm being specific to certain things, but what I'm saying is, this is not the place. This chat platform is not the place for people to come and air the dirty laundry or the issues they have with others. I can respect the fact that people have issues with others. This platform is not for that. This is educational. This is informational. This is inspirational. This is confirmational, not confrontation. Because you can have confrontation. This is just not the platform for that. And I don't mean you can't disagree. I'm saying take your personal disagreements to your own platform, so that the people who want to learn and hear will not have to.
This is for them.
Yeah. Okay. You have something you want to add to that?
So basically, is to get the people cognate of the conscious mind, the operative subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind, because it's part of the necessity for people or your your inbred defense mechanism, so that you don't have to get caught up in the fake psychology of looking for a sacrificial lamb again to come save you, that the Savior is within, that your government order of divine operation is within, God is within, and know that. And start trusting your intuitive mind, because much of the solutions for humanity are going to come from people who will become cognate of the superconscious mind and start trusting themselves to pay attention to it. Because there's also the scale of justice. You know, like you see the symbol in astrology of the scale of justice, when you see the
Libra.
Yes, and you see the bandana on her head, on her eyes.
They say it's blind.
Because that's not necessary.
You don't have to see. Yeah.
That's not the seven. Once the seven senses conjoin, then the third eye opens up, and that's true. So they don't want the people to know. See, it's sort of like, you know how like a con artist, priest don't want the people to really know the truth about the Bible, or the history of the Bible, the history of the Quran, the history of Wuaski, the history of the Urantia book, the history of the Torah, the Pentateuch, the Bhagavad Gita, the other books, and the connection of them all in different aspects, and the capacity intellectually to separate the dogmatic introduction of things that are more connotative and less denotative, and therefore the connotative linguistics that is really operative, not by opinion, but by deliberate meetings of people who know these things, who have been controlling the education system to artificially suppress humanity. And so the ignorance of humanity is not by nature, but by them being subjugated to institutions who have been controlled, which have been controlled by the dark priesthood, who they've trusted and thought was bringing them to Jesus, God, Allah, Moses, Muhammad, and to those representative seers and Fatima, etc., and have been misrepresented. Now, that's not a condemnation of the people who have been participants in and who are still participants in these different orders. It is just to say that those who have not spoken up to clean up have been what you would say participants or conspirators by default, for not speaking up for what they know to be the truth, and allow the false concepts to take life and to take root in society, and yet turn around and complain about the negative conditions of people on the planet and pretend that they're going to go to the different holy books without a real understanding or understanding or comprehension of the origins and the alterations out of the original cultures and the original tongues and customs, and have a better and have a clearer understanding of the books, so that they can operate more clearly at Midgard. No, they deny that. That's why they don't want information out with the public, because it frees them, and they know that all these institutions that they've been drawing finance from the poor successfully with for centuries, that they will no longer have that mental power over the people, for they will be liberated, for they will know more of the truths behind all of these things, and know that it's already imprinted in them. And at that point, when they start getting to the subliminal mind, which they're going to get to anyway, that the universe or the cosmos will start downloading on them anyway. And they won't have to go to some school. It will be totally unnecessary. You don't want them to know that either, do they?
I think the school situation is just a...
School's a copy of the womb. Get over it. So what happens when women really wake up in honor? Really? They're going to bring them here already what? Already erudite. How about that? Get mad at that. Why do you think the priesthood always suppress women? You think they don't know what I'm talking about right now? Yes, they absolutely do. Why they only tell the people that the Ankh, the symbol of the Ankh, the holy cross of the womb, only means generation and regeneration? only. Why don't they go further? Do they not want women to know the power of the womb, that if they would stop dealing with these dogma systems, that the power with bringing champions to the earth already exists with them? You want to solve the problems of the planet? Respect your womb. For real, not some moral appeal and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Start knowing yourself for real. And stop using sex as a sport. And begin to really have a comprehension of the use of the moon and the cycles of the moon. They told you is evil.
Let me share something.
Please do.
This from How to Live Large on a Small Planet. And this is based on, and this is called the chapter heading is Islands of Light. And it says many of us have a deep yearning to live together in conscious oneness, which is true. This yearning to live in a sacred community of kindred spirits to create a new, larger, and use the word family, based on love and oneness is embedded deep within our cellular memory banks. It is something we have carried within us for a long, long time. It is one of our most precious dreams. Over the years, numerous communities have been established with these goals in mind, yet most, if not all of them, have failed. There have been spiritual, religious, alternative, and hippie communities which have tried to create something new, but always there was the intrusion of duality, which kept them from achieving their goal. So it talks about we have to get from, out of duality into oneness in order.
Well, this is what it is. A cognizance of it, what it is. Now let's look. Having the priesthood under the guise of the political platform created doctrines, written doctrines, and operations that actually have been pitting men and women against each other. Marriage, which has been misrepresented totally, which is why they don't talk about matrimony. Marriage has been a tool of the priesthood to pit men and women against each other and sell themselves to one another. And the corporate state, operated by the priesthood and members of the Roman Curia, have always controlled the union and the divorce to steal their estates, and always put things in place that end up destroying the marriages in the first place so that the estates can be stolen. And men and women have been traditionally doing what? Fighting each other, and often starting to build beautiful lives together, beautiful homes, and within a 3-year cycle, they're at each other's throat trying to steal each other's estate. Now tell me that's not the practice. It is the practice. But knowing that that comes from the priesthood of Rome in its origin, and the Circle Church and Chancery, Fleet Street, England, controlling the judicial system and estates, i.e. Chancery Court. Yeah, right. Did any wonder why they don't want you to start thinking from your intuitive mind? Yes, it is. Once you start knowing and rejecting them and stop dealing with them, stop bringing them into your life, and stop making contracts with them, and those who follow them, of course, they're going to be disagreeable with us, aren't they? Yeah. Because they're parasites, all of them.
Here's a question for you from Jeff. What does Grand Sheik think about all of the news about UFOs as of late, and how does it affect us Moors? Are they related to us?
As of late, it always have been. Let's get over that too. There's never been the now. It has always been. It's not new. It's just been hidden. And you're going to have to communicate with many others from the intuitive mind. There's another reason why we're talking about this, because you're going to be facing it anyway. So that those who've been enslaving you and enslaving humanity can't use it as a weapon against you, because they're going to do that too.
The truth of the matter is there are benevolent as well as malevolent.
Isn't it positive, negative, everything?
Right.
All right.
So
what is one of the reasons why some things have not been open to us is because we've been pretty much exercising all of our institutions and our thought processes in the lower self.
And so in the third dimension.
Exactly. And so, not being cognizant of other planes of life, we have not been exercising the mind that qualifies us on those communication levels. And we have been what? Garnered, or what you call geared to exercise what you would call the three lower chakras, which is also why the sex is a sport. And that's the only place where we look for happiness, not finding it, limiting ourselves. And it's been used against us, which is why most of us find ourselves in this cycle of looking for the elusive butterfly of love and getting frustrated because we don't find it, because we have limited understanding or comprehension of the reality of our being, including the superconscious mind. And so we limit ourselves only to the carnal realms of the third degree, or what you would call the three-dimensional world.
One of the issues with finding love, I see, is that we fail to love ourselves first.
Of course, but we don't know ourselves.
Right. So when you can't, won't, take time to love and love yourself, it is impossible for you to find something or someone outside of you to make you complete, because you first got to find that love, that wholeness, that oneness in you.
Now let's look at the fact. Remember, when you begin to study this, and it's not that we're not responsible for that, because we are. However, the priesthood has been deliberately suppressing certain aspects of the human experience in order to put us in darkness or to keep us in darkness. As an example, all scholars around the world, some will admit, some will not, but upon examination, you will find it to be true, that the hybrid Europeans of the priesthood, after the takeover of the Vatican by representatives for and Napoleon, etc., have set the world back, knowledge-wise, discipline-wise, information-wise. At least minimally, they will admit to at least 500 years, but the fact is known at least 1200. Therefore, those who are operating government in their de facto platforms are operating at least minimally 300 years technologically ahead of the masses, and they've been using it negatively and for selfish purposes. And logically, they don't want the people to start operating in their superconscious mind, because you won't need them to teach you. You will start attaching yourself electrically to the cosmic mother or the Akashic record, or to the cosmic mother by nature, i.e., fifth dimensional ascension. Not a place to go, state of mind. How about that?
Here's a question from Tiffany Conway. Salam family, I'm joining you from Guyana, South America. We are in the process of nationalizing and would like to know where we fit in the Moorish family.
You fit in just like you do here. Once you understand, if you have available to you Circle 7 Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, go to chapter 47 and understand the biblical principle of the Superdivir, of the dividing of the land between Ham and Cush, and you'll find out that you're Cushites. You're already Moorish. It's not something to come to, it's something to become aware of. Self. You're already home, Dorothy. Now you understand the Wizard of Oz? Not a place to go. You're already home. You just become cognate in the area where you are, with people where you are, and start shedding the misrepresented information relative to governments and nations promoted by Rome, who conquered us. Get over it. It's sort of like the difficulty for many people when they become aware of some of this information is thinking they have to come to us type thing, or come in another area, and you're already home. You need to promote the knowledge because it's already there. As a matter of fact, in Guatemala, etc., in other areas, more evidence is actually there that gives the old history than it is been exposed up here. That's the truth. You just need to recognize it. It's all around you. Re-embrace it in the proper concept, morally and ethically, though, outside of the fake political paradigms that have been promoted. And you'll also understand why the hybrid Europeans have been controlledly misrepresenting the OAS, or the Organization of the American States, and also why they've been misrepresenting their private corporation as America the country, when you know and the world knows that America is the continent from the northern hemisphere of Midgard to the central equator to the southern hemisphere of Midgard, comprising America, of whom you are. And America is a dialectical adjustment of Al-Moroccan. You're already a Moor. You can't become it. You already are. Now you must know the distinction between the Aboriginal people, distinguished from the hybrid European Germanic tribes who have been conquering us under the guise of the Spanish Inquisition, the Roman Inquisition, and the colonial operations from England under the fake dynamics of the so-called Columbus era, which is not a man, but an era of political operations.
Yeah. Speaking of Columbus not being a man, I mean, we were listening to Dane Calloway's his latest
Many
film,
props to Dane.
Yeah, regarding the fictionalization of the creation